Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the week of June 22nd through June 28th. I am so happy to be back, and I wanted to just say I'm really sorry for missing last week's episode. I had it all written, I had it all planned out, and with absolutely zero notice, I got the worst flu I can ever remember having. And so you may notice that my voice is still way off, and I am sorry for that, but I didn't want to miss another week. So thank you all for being here and putting up with the really dreadful voice. I am so sorry. Anyway, it's a super good week, a big week with Jupiter involved. And so hopefully the good news I have will make up for the bad voice. So what am I talking about in this incredibly good week? I am talking about the conjunction or the meetup of the Sun and Jupiter, illumination and the luckiest planet in the sky. And then that happens actually on the 24th. And then the very next day, we get the moon joining in to this 3-planet conjunction where we get the new moon in Cancer on top of Jupiter. It is fantastic. It is beyond. It's definitely the luckiest couple of days this month. And I don't know, it might be the luckiest time this year. We don't have any retrogrades yet, even though we have 3 planets getting ready to retrograde. We got all kinds of stuff coming up, but this week we got blessings and expansion. So hold on. Before I get into it, let me just say right now, do all the sharing, liking, following, all of that kind of stuff, because that helps me out a lot. And after missing a week, you can imagine that numbers have gone down a bit, which I totally understand. But if you could help me out and do all the stuff and come follow over on Substack, that'd be super great. Anyway, before I get into Jupiter and the Sun, let me tell you some of the other things going on this week. On the 22nd, we have the Sun squaring Saturn. And then on the 23rd, the Sun will square Neptune, because these two are just a degree apart right now, traveling together for a while. So this is going to have to do with illuminating areas where we might need to rethink our boundaries, shining light on places where our boundaries maybe haven't been drawn well enough, and then shining light on areas where maybe we haven't been seeing things so well, so clearly, right? That Sun square Neptune, I think, is going to force us to look at some places where we may not have been as clear as we thought we were. On the 26th, we've got Mercury moving into Leo, bringing bold ideas. On the same day, we've got the Sun sextiling Mars, bringing a lot of energy. I mean, a lot of energy. Mars energy, Sun energy. You get what I'm saying. This should be a day of getting some stuff done, right? On the 27th, Mercury is going to form a harmonious aspect of Saturn. So that's going to help us really get to work on our ideas and really apply our thoughts productively. And then on the 28th, Mercury is going to trine Neptune, which will bring intuition and creative thought. So there's some good Mercury stuff going on, which is a really good thing, because next week, in fact, the very next day after this Mercury trine Neptune, Mercury is going to be in his retrograde shadow. So grab the Mercury stuff while we've got it, right? And fortunately, we've got it this week. But that's got nothing on this new moon conjunction with Jupiter. Oh my goodness. And that's all happening in Cancer. So grab your natal charts and look at where Cancer is in your chart, because that's where all of this is going to be happening. We're only looking at Cancer this week. And what's Cancer? This is the nurturer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it is that loving, nurturing goddess energy, right? But it's the crab. So it's also the protector and the defender, not in that warrior kind of ways that Mars defends, like going in with, swords drawn, but that more mama bear kind of protective energy. So, given that this is all going to be lit up this week, expect to feel the urge to protect, feel the urge to nurture. This could be, depending on where it's hitting in your chart, this could be self-love, nurturing your inner child. It could have to do with family, children, primary partners. It could be nurturing work projects or art projects, friends, or the world at large. And certainly that's needed right now, right? So it's a good, just looking at all of this energy in Cancer already gives you the warm fuzzies, right? So now let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter's already in Cancer, and I've missed a little bit of this going on because of missing last week, but Jupiter is expansive. The ancient astrologers called Jupiter the greater benefic. It is the luckiest, most blessed planet in the sky. It's also known as the guru planet because it has a lot to do with spirituality. It's visionary, right? It rules Sagittarius, right? Which is that look out onto the horizon, like far seeing, visionary kind of energy. So we've got Jupiter, this expansive planet of all blessings, coming into this sign of nurturing and caretaking. So what does that mean already? We're talking about receiving blessings through seizing those opportunities to nurture and defend, whether that's ourselves or others, or even ideas or projects, right? So these instincts that we're having are going to bring blessings, bring abundance onto us. So I'm not saying go out and help everyone because it's going to have a big payoff, but I am kind of saying that, right? I mean, that's not why you'll be doing it. You're going to be doing it because Cancer is going to bring all of that mama bear energy out, right? But do expect blessings to come from whatever energy you're putting out this week. Okay, now let's get into the actual event that I'm talking about. Oh, and before I move on, let me just remind you that Jupiter in Cancer, that part of the energy is going to last through June 30th of 2026. So this is a year-long transit, and Jupiter's going to be interacting with all the other planets and doing all kinds of stuff. But this sense of expansion and blessings and abundance and growth and growth, spiritual growth as well. This is going to be going on for a year. So we're going to be working with and refining this energy over the year. But now let's come to the conjunction, which is what this is all really about. On the 24th, the sun is going to connect with Jupiter. This is like shining the light in this area of our lives, right? Shining the light on available blessings, right? Where we'll just see like, oh, wow, there's all this stuff waiting. It's like fruit on the tree for me to pick it. And now I see the fruit, right? Does that make sense? But it's also going to be, I think, shining the light in areas where we can do good and where we can grow from doing good by nurturing others or ourselves. It depends on your house. But the sun is going to illuminate areas where we have the opportunity to defend those in need, even if that's ourselves, right? Or to nurture whoever it is that's needing nurtured. It's also going to shine the light on opportunities where we can grow. So, where we can expand in our lives and grow. The sun meeting up with Jupiter really says, look over here. Look over here. There's opportunity over here in this corner, and you weren't even looking here, right? So, it's really good. It's like we get lit up with opportunities to just grow and be better. It's amazing energy. It's really, really amazing energy. The other thing that can actually come from this conjunction is fame and recognition. All right, where the sun goes, recognition goes. And Jupiter just is lucky. So this really could be a time, depending on how it's playing, in your natal chart. This could be a time when you're being recognized for good that you've already done, or being recognized for things that you've accomplished. Art could be recognized, whatever your work, whatever it is. It could be your partner kind of looking at you and going, oh, wow, you're amazing. It could be that kind of recognition, but it could be literal fame. Jupiter is so lucky, and the sun is kind of like the spotlight shining on you. I don't know, go out for auditions or submit your work or whatever it is you do, because this could be a time when you could get famous. All right. Any way you look at it, this is just optimistic, it's joyful, it's expansive, and it's lucky. All right. In addition, I don't want to underplay the spirituality of this as well. As I said, Jupiter is called the guru planet. He's visionary. In that practical sense, like I said, he rules Sagittarius, but he also rules Pisces, remember, the most spiritual sign. Anyway, he's visionary. He sees far, and that's for like long-term planning and all of that. But he's also visionary in that spiritual way, where you can really kind of see through to the other side. And the sun is here illuminating this energy. And so it really could be a time of spiritual awakening, a time of psychic development, because that's that other kind of wisdom knowing, right? Does that make sense? Is that a thing? Wisdom knowing? I think it is. Anyway, it's also time to develop, or a time that you could expand your creative vision. Okay, so for all you creatives and writers and whatever kind of art stuff you're doing out there, this is really a time that you can see your own vision. Does that make sense? It's like sometimes I think we're working and we're like, gosh, I wish I could just get clear on what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to accomplish, right? This is that time. So for those of you who work creatively and you channel that kind of inner something, inner creative spark, right? This is a time when you're going to get more clear and it's going to flow well. All right. So I hope that made sense. That was a little weird, but I hope it finally came together and made some kind of sense. Now, if all of that's not enough, it's actually going to start before the 24th. The two planets, the Sun and Jupiter, are going to be exactly on top of each other on the 24th. So expect to feel this energy for at least a few days before, okay? But then on the 25th, the moon enters into all of this, and we get this three-way conjunction, which is what? The sun and the moon conjunct are the new moon. So we're getting a new moon in Cancer, and that new moon is going to also be conjunct with Jupiter. So we're getting those extra blessings. So we're getting like the new moon on steroids, because Jupiter makes everything bigger and better and luckier, right? So talk about setting full moon intentions or making wishes. Some people believe that you get 10 wishes on the day of the full moon, okay? So with that in mind, let's talk about what kinds of intentions. You always look to the sign for that. Intentions in Cancer could have to do with security, could have to do with feeling safe and protected, could have to do with being loved and loving, could have to do with becoming a parent, right? If that's the kind of thing you want to do, whether of a regular, human kind of baby or a fur parent, fur parent. I don't think that makes sense. Or if you want to adopt a fur baby, whatever it is that they sometimes call Cancer the mommy sign. And while I hate that a whole lot, it does have a kind of accurate bit to it as well, right? It is that maternal, because the moon is the ruler, right? It's feminine. It's that sort of maternal energy. And so this is a time where if you're wanting to expand your family in whatever kind of way, this would be a good time to set those intentions. And remember, I always remind people, we think of the new moon energy as taking hold for a month. We think about the moon going through its waxing and waning phases and coming back to new next month. And we think of that as a completed cycle, and it certainly is. So setting intentions that are kind of big enough to fill up a month as they're developing and unfolding, absolutely. But remember, the cycle of the new moon is not actually complete until we get the full moon in that same sign. So the Cancer new moon is complete when we get the Cancer full moon. And when does that happen? That is in January, be around the 2nd or 3rd, I believe, of January 2026. So think big. And another reason that it's really great to think big for this one is we've got Jupiter, and Jupiter expands and makes big, right? So I no pun intended here, the sky's the limit. This is a time when, if you want big, giant things, like to start a family, to get famous, to start your own business, to what are your biggest goals and your biggest dreams, this new moon is the time to put words, put those ideas, those wishes and desires into words, set those intentions, and grab this energy, because this is truly lucky, blessed, and expansive, and it has some time to unfold. Set those shorter term goals, things that can be accomplished within the month, asking for a raise or getting started on a project, or maybe launching the next phase of a marketing campaign or whatever it is, right? But also think in that 6-month range and set those bigger goals. That's what this energy is all about. Jupiter is here for it. All right. So this is a super I don't know how to say it. It's blessed. It's lucky. It's a good energy this week. Now, my only little tiny warning is, of course, anytime the moon is involved in a big way, and especially in a water sign, and especially in Cancer, we could be emotional around this time. And with Jupiter there, we might get big emotions. We might be feeling the feels, okay? So I just want to put that out there. And if you're feeling a little bit emotional, a little bit over the top, like your emotions are a little bit not explosive, that's not exactly right, but just big, right? Big and intense. That's going to be Jupiter acting on the moon. And my advice to you is just go with it. Let those feelings feel. Let them out, experience them, because this is still positive energy. This is still a blessed time. And even if you've got a lot coming up, we've got the sun there to illuminate it so you can gain understanding from whatever you're going through. We've got Jupiter there to ultimately bring the blessings. So if you are one of the people who feels the kind of emotional intensity of the moment, feel it, experience it, and expect to grow and benefit from the exploration of your own emotions. Does that make sense? I really hope that it does. This is a beautiful energy, and without trying to get too heavy or political or anything like that, there's a lot of scary stuff going on in the world right now. And the idea that we're coming into a time when we're going to be compassionate, we're going to want to nurture others, the world, the environment, ourselves, whatever it is, and just kind of step into that role of caretaker and defender. I think it's good. I think it's good that it's coming right now. I think that we're all needed. I think that all of us grabbing this energy and really finding the joy and the beauty and the expansiveness in helping and doing good and defending those in need, I think that's a good thing. And I think we're really lucky that it's coming up right now. Anyway, again, sorry for the voice. Sorry for the absence last week. Thank you so much for being here and doing all the stuff to help me and support the show. I really, really appreciate you all. I can't tell you. I just feel really blessed and I'm really grateful for you guys. Anyway, until next week, go out and seize these magnificent energies. This is my wish for you always. Until then, bye.